That's an important question, and I will answer it reflecting on the context in Central and Eastern Europe, which is the region that I've most looked at. I think part of what makes populism, or the rise of populism, so pernicious in the region is the fact that populists have managed to tap into a real dissatisfaction and disaffection with democracy, but actually more specifically with representative institutions. And what I mean by that goes beyond what we've talked about in politics, as the decline of representative democracy, so disaffection with political parties, diminishing party memberships, disaffection with trade unions, and in the Eastern European context, the co-option of trade unions politically. So there is that element as well, but I think there is an added element in Central and Eastern Europe which has to do with these countries' transitions to democracy, which I view as having been very elite-driven. So reflecting, for instance, on the constitution-making processes in the region, what you saw in 1989 and immediately thereafter was very much sort of pacted constitutions being adopted, and the path or the direction forward was in a way predetermined. It was liberal democracy, yes, but in a very legalistic form and institutionalization of liberal democracy. And it was capitalism, and again, in a particular, very neoliberal form. So those two combined were really the path that was taken without much deliberation, without much search for compromise or alternative forms. So what I see happening in that region today is actually a pushback against that institutionalization of sort of legalistic constitutionalism and also neoliberal economic forms. So you could say that what makes populism in that region so difficult to address is also to do with the fact that the populists ask the right question. They provide, dangerous answers, but I do think they tap into a very real problem with representative institutions in these regions, and with a very elite-driven, non-participatory form of democracy that was instituted post-1989. I think in many ways it has caught the European Union off guard, what has been happening, and the delayed response, again, to countries like Hungary and Poland, but also to developments in France and Germany, shows that the European Union hasn't really probably understood itself really primarily as a normative actor in rule of law terms. It's still sort of playing catch up and trying to figure out how to respond, how to strengthen protections for the rule of law, and how to connect those protections that it says at the value level that it wants to promote, how to connect them with real action. So we're seeing now infringement proceedings against Hungary and Poland, but they're taking quite a long time to be determined whether they are effective. I think from my perspective, what needs to happen, and actually needed to have happened even before these developments, was a bit more soul-searching, perhaps, on the part of European Union actors about what the European project, the European integration project, is actually about, what direction it needs to take, how to democratize truly the European Union, and how to address its own democratic deficits so that it protects itself and has a real answer to challenges that it is, again, an elitist, technocratic project that is very far removed from the people that actually live under the conditions that it creates.